Okay, welcome back to the channel. I'm here with Jev from Vegan Outreach, and we're just here at the University of Alberta, and we've been doing some pamphleting around the school grounds, just trying to spread the vegan message. So thank you, Jev, for taking the time to talk to me.
Yes, thank you so much for being here with me.
I'm glad I got a chance to do this.
Yeah, it was fabulous today.
So what got you involved with Vegan Outreach?
I got involved with Vegan Outreach 3 years after becoming an activist, so just was really full force into being an activist. I personally think that it's where we should all be. If we want the change to happen, we have to be willing to get out there and do it. So something that I always kind of leave people with is to always do what you can when you can. And for me, I first got involved and I had tons and tons of time, so I went full force, and I was just really lucky, and Vegan Outreach wanted me to coordinate events for them over Canada. And for the past 4 years, I've been traveling Canada, talking to students, and it's been fabulous because there's such a great crowd of people, super receptive to the information. I mean, obviously we have some difficult chats, but that's normal. But got involved because it's important ultimately. So
absolutely, that's great. So have you noticed a difference across certain areas of Canada where it's a little bit more receptive versus not as receptive?
Definitely. Surprisingly, the East Coast is actually really receptive, even though they don't have tons of vegan choices and options in that area. I find the East Coast is really receptive. Toronto, GTA, Ottawa area, there's mad sparks of increase happening there. There's constant activism happening there, so people are really, they see it.
Yeah.
So good area there, and then you start getting into the prairies, and it does get a little tougher, just because there's such a farmer community. So people are super protective of that. They think that vegans are attacking farmers and wanting to strip farmers of their positions and their roles, but we're actually just trying to educate them that, farmers are the glue. They're the reason that we need food, but we're ultimately just trying to change that product line. So it does change per area. That's the same thing you get out here with the Alberta beef stuff as well, but they're still receptive. They're opening up more and more. It's just a matter of how we approach the farming communities.
Right.
So that's where we not unfortunately, we just have to tailor the way we speak to them. We can't go in there with the same tactic that we would use with the general public because, they're already part of the cruelty. So they know their animals are dying, so we have to hit them in another way. And I find that, hitting home with the health issues of farmers and the mental health issues of them having to kill their own babies, things like that, that's really getting them to link up that vegans are trying to think of the whole picture. We're not just trying to focus on this one or two issues. It's we're really trying to figure out this whole thing to fix the planet and all of these issues. So it has opened things up. And then the West Coast is really receptive. So
that's awesome.
They're easy peasy.
Easy to work with, eh?
Easier to work with. Obviously, cities, everybody kind of has their hesitations sometimes when it comes to people just being approached on the streets.
Right.
So, but that's kind of across the board. But as a whole, especially this year, has been my heart. I can't stop smiling when I'm leaving a school. I'm so on cloud nine because the conversations are fantastic, and just the questions that students are asking, the fact that they're wanting more options in the universities, it's just been really good.
Have you ever had any one-on-one feedback from people you might have talked to in the past that, that said, hey, I've gone vegan because of you or your organization at all? Or
I have. I've had a few very interesting ones, actually, that were more difficult. And one of my favorite ones, actually, was I was at Mount Royal in Calgary. And she was difficult the year that I met her. She was giving me every possible excuse in the book. And I was outreaching the second year, and we ended up leaving. It was one of those ones where I was like, okay, I think I have to disengage from this one. I don't know what else I can say. But left it on a good note. And then I was just totally in my outreaching zone. And you see so many faces that how are you supposed to remember these people? But something happened where I was my heart literally was I know this person. Handed her the booklet, and she looked at me weirdly too, and I was I talked to you last year, didn't I? She's yeah, you did. And then we dived in, and she was giving me a little bit of a hard time too, but she made major changes. She didn't necessarily go fully vegan, but she opened up about how she started learning more and more about the ethical stuff, about the environmental stuff, just huge issues. She was dating a hunter before, she's not dating, she just was ready to really embark on it. And that one was a big situation because I felt she had been so disregarded as a woman that's where she had that tough like mentality. She didn't want to go vegan because she wanted to keep that I got this kind of thing. And when she let that go, because I acknowledged her alpha female, and she felt so respected when I acknowledged that she dropped her barrier, and we had this incredible conversation. And like, she was at the end of it told me she was going vegan. So like, not that she had already gone, but I've had people tell me that they're going right away, and you kind of can tell. Like, it was like the guys I was telling you about today. I know they're doing it. Like, the way that conversation went, the way they were so into it, they've been wanting to make the change. They just were missing that last piece of information to switch the flip. Or,
right.
You know, what I'm trying to say.
Switch, yeah.
There you go. But it's those things. It's like, that's why the interactions that we have are so freaking important in creating this change.
Now, I know from my personal experience, talking with family, it's really, really difficult to get across that message. I mean, there almost has to be like a degree of separation from the outreacher and the outreached. Do you think that it's important for just everyday common people who, you know, may try to outreach to their family to join the cause and get out on the street and be active? Do you think that'll have more of an effect?
Absolutely. And that's actually something I tell to newbie activists as well, is, to be honest, don't put your effort and time into your family. I mean, obviously that sounds horrible to say, but when it comes to how you can affect so much more people, playing the role of just living the best example. I mean, make awesome meals. Don't make it so much, because I bombarded my family. I went full force into, this is all the animal cruelty, this is everything. Like, I kind of was almost like, you guys are shitty people. Like, I was so mad. And I know many people that go through the angry vegan phase. So I feel like with family, we have to just kind of work on it, and it sucks that we have to work with it a little bit more, but that's where it's important to get out with the public, because you have these awesome interactions with people all day long, and you're like, okay, and now maybe you have better energy for it to be received with your family, because you can talk about the interactions you had, not necessarily about, I need to change you, but this is the greatest interaction I had today, and I would love to tell you about it. And then they become part of your life. They start feeling included in it without being attacked, and then that's where they start making more of their changes. So.
I couldn't agree more there. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about this, and thank you again for this opportunity to get out there and outreach. I love doing it on a daily, weekly basis, so I'm glad that other people are also traveling Canada, doing it as a job. That's a dream job, so thanks so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will leave something with you guys, though, is one quote that I always like to leave people with when you guys are getting involved in activism, especially when you're approaching the public and talking to anybody, especially strangers, is to make sure, there's the Maya Angelou quote, where it's, at the end of the day, people won't remember what you said or did, they'll remember how you made them feel. So we have to go out there and make people feel really good at the end of our interactions, because they will remember that interaction. And by remembering that interaction, they'll be like, I don't remember all the facts that vegan girl said to me, but I remember she was vegan, and I remember I left feeling freaking awesome. I'm gonna go home and research this more. So leave people feeling really awesome in your conversations. That's a big tip.